Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei went for a new adventure in Infinite Stratos movie. Before we start, please go support Nka7625E for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made, there will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. This story begins with Issei leaving home to embark on a new adventure. The beginning of my life. Hi, maybe you're wondering what I'm doing here. I don't know. Just one day, they erased my memory and grabbed me. And yeah, they told me I was good at getting those things called is, but the truth is, I'm a pain. My whole life, something bad has always happened to me, something bad always happens to me. If I don't run into someone from my old childhood, they leave and castrate me. But what can I say? I'm a hopeless pervert, and this is my story of how I drove, an Infinite Stratos. Issei. I wanted to do and have Ichika someday. According to Tyrant, I had a friendship with that girl since childhood, but then he left for a while when I was in elementary school. But I saw him on the news. He was driving an Infinite Stratos, or as they call it, an is. I was impressed that he could drive that thing someday to connect it to the future and measure something. But someone knocks on the door. Issei. Who is it and who's playing at this hour? Jafai. Why won't you open the door if I'm an old childhood friend? Issei opened the door. Issei. Jafai. Jafai. You don't remember me anymore. Issei. No. Jafai. Baka, you always have a bad memory. Issei. I kind of remember. Well, it happens. Jafai. Okay. Issei and Jafai were talking about many things, and when he finally told her what they were, she remembered the most. She suffered a little when she remembered everything, but Jafai had to tell her something very important. Jafai. Well Issei, I have something to tell you. Issei. And what is it you have to tell me? Jafai. Well, Issei Hyoudou, you're enrolled at his academy and you'll have to come with me. Issei. And what if she didn't agree to go with you? Jafai. Then I'll castrate you and you'll come with me anyway. So what do you decide, the easy way or the hard way? Issei. Well, let's do it nicely. Jafai. Well, pack your things because we're leaving tomorrow. Issei, Eskener. And who decided that? I'm the only one who decides. Jafai. Because I said so, and you can act like Eskener, but you don't scare me. Issei. Well, I'm going to get ready. Jafai. But first. Jafai took Issei to his room and they did many delicious things after that morning. I could fit in as quickly as possible, but yes, he already said no, that it wasn't Eskener Issei. Jafai. Well, to the academy. Issei. Hi. Issei and Jafai went to the academy where they trained to become pilots. What will happen to our beloved protagonist? What will become of his poor friend and what will Jafai do to him? Find out in the next episode. End of chapter. Entering the school is. Jafai. Welcome to the academy is. Issei. So, this is the academy. Jafai. That's right, I'll train you myself. Issei. Are you serious or are you kidding me? Jafai turned a little red, like a tomato. Jafai. I'm not kidding you, Isla, right? I'm going to train you myself and you'll have advantages with me. Issei. How and what advantages? Jafai. Well, you'll have advantages with me, like not having classes, not sharing a dorm, having a room just for you, and also talking to Shinono Tabane, so she can make your first is. Issei. Okay, but by the way, I already have my is. Jafai was stunned by what he told her. Jafai. But how did they create an is for you? Issei. Well, I placed an order with a really good factory and they made me some really good material and mine is almost like a higher category. Jafai had a depressing aura. Jafai. I'm so dumb, I couldn't help her ask for her is. Issei. Relax, nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to send you a missile or anything like that. Jafai. Okay, but I'm still a little depressed. Issei. Oh my god, come on, let's go eat. I waited for them at the place where they eat and the students ordered something and went to the rooftop, but while they were eating, Jafai asked Issei something. Jafai. A question Issei. Issei. What's wrong, Jafai? Jafai. You still hate me for what happened. The atmosphere got a little tense. Issei. Well, I don't hate you, I just want to forget what happened that day and not dwell on it so I don't hurt anyone else, especially you. Upon hearing what Issei said, Jafai hugged Issei and began to cry. Jafai. Forgive me for not rescuing you, forgive me for being so cruel to you. I could only save Ichika, but I couldn't save you and I feel guilty for what happened. Can I forgive them for what they did to you? Sniff sniff from now on, I will protect you no matter what you say. I will never leave you again, Issei. Issei saw Jafai very sure of her words. Issei. Well, but you saved your brother and that was better than saving me. Issei. Anyway, I want you to forgive me. I can't bear this guilt anymore for not saving you. Issei. I accept your apology, but never stop blaming yourself for what happened and move on. Issei. Okay Issei, now let's go to my room. Issei. So that. Issei. To give you some things. Issei. Okay, let's go. So the two went to Issei's room, the church, the things he was supposed to give her, and the room keys. When Issei went to his room, he was surprised to see who was there. Issei. Oh my god, where did you put me, Issei? Who will be in the room and what will Issei have given him? Watch the next chapter of Issei in Infinity Stratos. End of chapter. Issei and the Nightmare of Issei. In Issei's room. Issei. No, 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 because out of all the rooms, you had to be in Shinono Tabane. Tabane. Issei, welcome and make yourself very comfortable, this will be our room. Issei. You tricked me Issei. Tabane takes him by the hand and leads him to the table where there was a bowl of ramen. Issei Tabane. Ah, eat. They both ate until they were satisfied. Tabane. Did you like the food, Issei? Issei. Yes. Tabane. A question Issei. Issei. What's wrong? Tabane. You don't have an as yet. Issei. I already have one. Tabane went to a corner and has a depressive aura. Tabane. I'm a bad rabbit, I didn't do an Issei. Issei. Don't worry, Tabane, if you'd like you can modify my is. That made the rabbit jump for joy. Tabane. I like that a lot, I'll add cannons, pistols, swords, even a chainsaw. Issei. And for the chainsaw. Tabane. For a lot of blood or so you can cut wood. Issei. Okay, but I hope you don't destroy it. But Tabane was deeply lost in her thoughts. Issei. Well, I'm going to take a bath. Tabane. Okay. Issei took a bath, then went to bed and fell asleep to help Tabane. Elsewhere. Issei room. Issei was looking at the moon, but remembered what Issei told her. Issei. I don't hate you, you did the right thing. End of his thoughts. Issei. If only I knew what you went through. Issei went to her bed and fell asleep. But a shadow appears. If you want to know what happened, Hyoudou Issei, then I'll show you in your dreams. The shadow shot out like lightning and hit Issei on the head. Well, my work here ends. And the mysterious shadow departed, leaving Issei in a very deep sleep. In his dreams of Issei. Issei saw a chestnut tree under a burning house. Issei. No, Issei, get out of there. But Issei didn't hear her. Issei went for it but turned to dust. Issei. But what? But a voice whispers something to him. You think his life was easy for you? It wasn't easy for him at all. Issei. What are you saying? He couldn't finish explaining why he appreciated being in a place of experiments. Doctor? Well, this boy has many third-degree burns and all broken bones. It's all yours. Scientist? Are you sure he doesn't have a family? Doctor? No one has come to see him, who will claim him? Scientist? Okay, very good, test monkey, it's time to do some science. Issei. No please don't do anything to him. But he watched as they experimented on him again and again until he was almost dead. Issei watched in terror what was happening. He was crying. But they whispered to him again. Now you'll see how he managed to escape. Issei appeared on a road. Well, you're free now, even though you're already dead. The mysterious man sped off in his car. Issei. Because they threw him around like a sack. But a family saw him, and the father, seeing that he was still alive, took him to a hospital where they treated and rehabilitated him. He was in a wheelchair, emaciated, and could barely speak, but 3 years later he could move again. He stayed in a room. Issei. That's where I found him. But wake up suddenly. Issei. Forgive me, Issei. When he looked, he was in his bed. Issei. It seems I was able to see Issei's past. He checked the time and it was 12 p.m. Issei. I promise you, Issei, that I will protect you now. Find out what Issei and Tabane will do in the next episode of Issei in Infinite Stratos. End of chapter. Issei and Tabane modifying the Issei and the madness of love. Issei. Well, I think today's the day we modify my Issei Tabane. But when he says her name, she comes out of the bathroom and Issei has a nosebleed of Otaku level proportions. Tabane. Kuoh Issei is a pervert. Issei. You're the pervert who comes out of the bathroom like that. Tabane. Oh, well, what are we going to have for breakfast? Issei. What do you want for breakfast? Tabane. Some hotcakes and waffles. Issei. Oh my god, she's like a machine. Tabane. Feed me, Issei. Issei made the waffles and pancakes. When they finished, they went to the workshop where Issei took out his is and was looking for something to put on it. Issei. What if we give him 2 swords? Tabane. You're good with swords. Issei. Yes, I can handle them easily. Tabane. Okay, what if we put some cannons on it with a target? Issei. That would be good too. Tabane. Okay then, let's do an is. The two of them were repairing and modifying the is to improve its mobility and speed, although Tabane was lost in thought. Tabane's thoughts. Tabane. Oh, how I like Issei, but I don't know whether to tell him how I feel or not. Oh, I'm dying to tell him. End of Tabane's thoughts. In her thoughts, Tabane slips and Issei catches her like a princess. Tabane. Issei. Issei. Are you okay? Tabane. If only this one slipped up, I was so clumsy. Issei. It wasn't, it was just something normal, it happens to everyone. They were at a moment when they were about to kiss, but Issei interrupted, falling. Sul and Tabane had to stop him and installed all his weapons, and now he's ready. Meanwhile with Tifai. Tifai sat at a desk, pondering the nightmare. She was remembering and thinking about how to strategize to protect Issei. Tifai. Oh, this is very difficult, but. Tifai saw when Issei was in a wheelchair. Tifai. I don't want this to happen to him again, and I have to see him again. I don't want him taken from my life. Now I will take care of you, and no one will hurt you anymore. Tifai is bright red, but her feelings were for Issei. But Issei and Tabane. Tabane. Okay, now when you want to equip yourself with your item tool, you'll have to use this. Issei saw that Tabane was wearing gloves. Issei. Wow, they look impressive. Tabane. Thank you, although this type of training is very rare. Issei. Oh, so I have a rare one. Tabane. So now with the cannons and swords you can have a nice Issei, now all that's left is for it to have energy and it'll be ready. By the way, Issei. Issei. What's wrong? Tabane. What will you call your is? Issei was thinking of a name until. Issei. The Red Dragon Emperor. Tabane. Okay, the name looks epic. Now let's eat. Issei. Okay, but this time you invite. Tabane. Oh, why me, Issei? Issei. Why do I say YOLO? Tabane. Okay, let's go, it's my treat. What will happen to Issei? How will it be? Find out in the next episode of Issei in Infinity Stratos. End of chapter. The beginning of Issei and the promise. Tifai was frantically searching for Issei because I didn't want to lose him again. Tifai. Where will you be, Issei? I searched all over the school and couldn't find him. Tifai. He asked me where you were, or maybe he didn't like me and left. Tifai was starting to cry because she thought Issei had left and was looking for another school, but then someone appeared. Issei. Tifai, why are you crying? Tifai recognized him and saw that it was Issei and hugged him. Tifai. Where were you? I thought you had gone. Issei. I didn't go alone, I went with Tabane to modify my is. Tifai had an aura of depression. Tifai. I couldn't help you, I'm bad. Issei. Calm down, Tifai, just don't put up that aura. Tifai. Well, someone wants to see you. Issei. Who? Tifai. I don't know, but he only left me a piece of paper. Tifai gave her the paper, and when she opened it, she saw that it had a map with an X in the place where she was supposed to meet her. Issei. Okay, but I want to eat first. Tifai. Okay, let's go. The two went to a buffet and ate all they could until they were full. Time skipped 2 hours after so much eating. Issei. Well, it's time. Issei followed the map's instructions until he arrived at a park. Issei. Well, it seems this is where I should see the one who summoned me. But then someone speaks behind him. Wow, I thought you weren't coming, hi to Issei. And when he turned around he saw a girl with hair like gold and beautiful eyes, which made them both blush. Issei. Charlotte. Charlotte. Hi Issei, it's been a long time since I've seen you. Issei. That's right, but you've become very beautiful. Charlotte. Don't say that, Issei, you're making me blush. Issei. It's true, you are very beautiful. Charlotte's face was so tomato red it was almost steaming. Charlotte. Issei, do you remember our promise? Issei. Promise. What promise? Charlotte. Well, we made this about 3 years ago, a promise that if we met again, we'd. Charlotte remained silent for a few moments. Issei, what would become of you, Charlotte? Charlotte just kept lowering her head until. Charlotte. You would be my boyfriend and soon after, my husband. Issei remained silent for a few minutes. Charlotte. Issei, do you have something? Charlotte believed that Issei was not going to keep his promise. Background music for lovers. Issei grabbed Charlotte's arm and Volsho and gave her a passionate kiss. Issei. Never think I would break a promise. I will be your husband. Charlotte. Seriously, Issei, you're not lying to me. Issei. What time would I lie to you, going to a beautiful woman like you and beautiful? The two kissed passionately again. The kiss lasted about 20 seconds until they ran out of breath and separated. Issei. Come on, beautiful, let's go to my house. And so they walked down the street as a beautiful moon rose. What does the future hold for Issei? Watch the next episode of Issei Infinity Stratos. End of chapter. Charlotte and Issei trying on swimsuits to go to the beach. On a day like this for our beloved brunette, but Issei was very flushed. You might ask why. Well, Charlotte invited him to try on swimsuits and he was still worried about what was going to happen. Issei, I don't know how you convinced me, Charlotte. Charlotte. Remember that we're going to the beach with Chifayu and Tabane. Issei. Yeah, I don't know why Chifayu decided this. Flashback. Chifayu. Students, you will be going on a trip to the beach where you can enjoy your vacation to the fullest. Put on your best swimsuits and I'll see you in 2 days. Students. Hi. End of flashback. Charlotte. Well, but you'll also have to buy a swimsuit. Issei. If I'm right, well, I hope nothing happens to me. Charlotte. Why do you say that, Issei? Issei. I have a feeling that if something really bad is going to happen, it's going to be something that will make me need to see a psychologist. Charlotte. So much so, Issei. Issei had a depressive aura. Issei. I have a difficult life, I need to go to a psychologist. Charlotte. Don't worry, you're going to be okay. Charlotte pulled Issei by the arm and when they saw they arrived at the mall and went to a clothing store in the swimsuit section and I looked at him and he was looking at many women in many swimsuits. MQCUS 7625E. I don't know, but I have a feeling something bad is going to happen. Issei was noticing, but Charlotte was already in the fitting room trying on a swimsuit, but behind her were her boyfriend, Chifayu, and Tabane. Chifayu Tabane. Hello, Issei. Issei. Girls, why are you here? Chifayu. Well, you're going to try on a swimsuit, but since you're here, tell us how the swimsuits look on us. Tabane. That's right, my dear darling, to tell us that a hexy outfit fits us. In Issei's mind. Issei. I wish the earth would swallow me up, what is this? It looks like a girl war. The 3 years with swimsuits but I did and he didn't pay attention to them and they were able to go on date after date after date until they made Issei blush. All 3. We'll take them. The 3 of them took their swimsuits, but leave me alone, poor guy, and if he had a swimsuit, he had to find his own, and he went home, but if not, he'd run into Chifayu. Chifayu. Today it's your turn to eat, Issei. Issei. Don't tell me today. Chifayu. Today it's your turn to snoo. Issei. Oh dear. Yes, I went and he grabbed her and threw her on the bed and took her away to do secret things and didn't stop until dawn, and poor Issei was left like a corpse. What will happen to Issei? Will he recover, stay in bed, or be able to go to the beach this summer? Find out in the next episode of Issei Infinity Stratos, and will you be able to have the strength of Chifayu? End of chapter. Aoki. Cecilia. Ling. The Tantanashi sisters. Rias Ross and Akeno. Lakasa. Or else put. All the waifus. The beach and a very hexy fiancé. Issei was looking at the sea, but he was mostly bleeding from his nose because, well, there were already several girls in swimsuits since he was a boy, but someone was. Chifayu. Hey, aren't you going to do anything or are you just going to stand there staring and getting god-level nosebleeds? Issei. Well, I'm going for a walk. Issei went somewhere else. In the mind of Chifayu. Chifayu. I see, so you still haven't gotten used to it. End of Chifayu's thoughts. Elsewhere. Issei was running like crazy until he bumped into a silver-haired girl. Issei. Ouch. Ouch, I'd say. Issei, but when he opened his eyes to a silver-haired girl in a very hexy swimsuit, he even got a nosebleed of god-level proportions. Hey, are you okay? But Issei fainted and knew nothing. Take skip after Issei's nosebleed. Issei saw that he was in a bed, but then he realized he was in a beautiful house and saw the silver-haired girl. Well, you finally woke up. Issei. Who are you and where am I? Roswis. Well, first of all, hello, my name is Roswis. Issei. I like my name, it's Issei Hyoudou. But hearing the name Roswis paralyzed her. Roswis. Thank you, your name is Issei Hyoudou. Issei. That's how it happens. Roswis threw herself at Issei and gave him a passionate kiss. Issei. And why was that? Roswis. That was because I finally found you. Issei. To me. Roswis. That's your family and your marriage, get yourself together. I had to marry you, and I've finally found you, my love. Issei. Witee. Roswis. Why are you shouting? Issei. But I didn't know about this. Roswis. Well, it's a little difficult to explain, but I'll tell you about your family. The Hyoudou family arranged a marriage between you and me, but they insisted we both be over 18 to get married, and they separated us. But when I learned your parents had died, I promised myself I would find you and give you lots of love, and that's how I found you running on a beach. Issei. Okay, let's assume that's true, but I have a question. Roswis. What is? Issei. How many days has he been sleeping? Roswis. More than 3 days. Issei. By now, where I was with my friends, they've already left and I have to walk to the academy. Roswis. Academy. Issei. I forgot, I study at the Issei Academy. Roswis. Oh, I see. If you'd like, I can give you a ride in my car. Issei. It could be. Roswis. Sure, no problem, but just give me a kiss. Issei. Okay, no problem. Issei gave her a kiss, but Roswis kissed him passionately. Roswis. Okay, let's go. They left in a Lamborghini, driving at full speed for 2 days until they arrived at the Issei Academy. Issei. We finally arrived. Roswis. What a beautiful academy. But then Chifayu appears with a sinister aura. Chifayu. Issei. What will happen to Issei, and what will Chifayu and the other girls say to him? Come to the next episode of Infinity Stratos. End of chapter. The fiancé from Issei's past. Chifayu. Issei, where were you? Issei. Well, as I said, I had a problem and I had to go home. Roswis. But Issei, you weren't at my house. Issei. Ross, tell him that yes, I was at your house. Yes, I was impressed and at the same time, by a little phrase. Chifayu. So you were at a girl's house. Issei. Edo Chifayu, I can explain it to you. But then he pulls out some swords from who knows where. Chifayu. Ni Issei, today I will show you no mercy. Issei. Let's go, it's scary here, step on Roswis. Roswis. Yes to running. Roswis floored the car, but Chifayu split the car in half. Roswis. Because he was my favorite, now you'll pay for this. Roswis. I take out a sword and attack Chifayu. Roswis. It's time Ob. Clink. Chifayu. It seems you're very skilled with a sword. It will be a pleasure to fight you. Roswis. Me too, well, it's time to fight. We clashed swords non-stop and it was impossible to tell who would win. You're with our chestnut-haired colleague and friend. Issei was running uphill so that Chifayu wouldn't kill him. Since he was already tired of running, he climbed a tree to rest for a while. Issei. Well, I hope Roswis is alright. But who would win? If Roswis wins, I think she'll make up for it. And if Chifayu wins, I might have a week of non-stop snoo-snoo with her. Issei was imagining what both things would be like and was a little worried. Issei. Drunk if one of the two cats I hope you win Roswis no Chifayu so that he doesn't make me snoo-snoo without stopping. But then a dark-haired girl with purple eyes appears. Ara, why do you have a scared face? When I look up and see a girl with black hair and beautiful purple eyes. Issei. Nothing's wrong with me, it's just that my sensei was chazzing me. Ara, well, let's hope nothing happens to your sensei and that you don't get scolded for talking to me. Issei. No, it's nothing, it's just that when you go to the principal's office, you have to apologize to her. Well, that's not so bad. The bad thing would be if he took me out of your university. Issei. Well, I do think you should apologize to her about that and I hope nothing happens to me. Everything will be alright. But when she looked at it closely, the dark-haired girl pulled out an old photograph and was impressed. Hey, can I ask you something? Issei. Yes, of course, no problem. What is your name? Issei. My name is Hyoudou Issei. The girl was stunned by what Issei told her. Issei. Hey, are you okay? But the girl didn't answer him. I found you. Issei. Who did you find? Black-haired girl burns Issei. Issei. And why the hug? I've been looking for you for a long time and I've finally found you, darling. Issei. What does it mean that I'm engaged to you? That's right, your parents arranged our engagement and now we're together, my love. Issei. Wait, I don't understand anything and I don't know your name. Akeno. My name is Akeno Himejima and I am your fiancé, as well as my sister. Issei. But what will happen to Issei? Who is the sister of Don't Come Without You? Issei's apartment, Infinity Stratos, and do you know who Akeno's sister is? End of chapter. Akeno's sister and Awara fiancés run away. Akeno. I'd like to introduce you to my sister. When Issei saw her, he had a god-level hemorrhage. Issei. You're Akeno's sister. Kurumi. Hello darling, my name is Himejima Kurumi. Issei. Hello, my name is Hyoudou Issei. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Kurumi. Kuru grabs Issei and gives him a passionate kiss that lasted 15 seconds. They didn't even separate, they were breathless, and her sister Akeno was a little jealous, but someone interrupts the loving moment. Jafai. Today you'll have non-stop snoo until I get tired of you telling me the truth about who all your fiancés are. But then Akeno and Kurumi step forward. Kurumi. Ara, it's going to be a little interesting. Akeno. That's right, but I don't want war today. First, I need to get the paperwork done. But then all of Issei's fiancés arrive. Broswis. So I don't want to give anything away either. First we have to see how many fiancés my dear darling has. Thabane. What do you mean your fiancé is my fiancé and my future husband? They were fighting over Issei's future, but Issei was walking slowly to leave, and when I saw the monkey, I told you it was very far away, it took off running at full gallop. MQCUS 7625E. Run, bitch, run, don't look back, Issei, or you'll be in a wheelchair for a month and you won't be able to have children. Issei ran through all the streets and left his high school so that he wouldn't be chased. Issei. There are mothers, why did my parents have to set me up with so many fiancés? I can only imagine what they'll do. Issei's thoughts. Jafai. How many of us are Issei's fiancés? Akeno. Counting each other, there are 6 of us in total for now. Who knows who Issei's parents are? Broswis. We don't know each other, but I think her parents do, and I have a feeling there are more fiancés who are more sensual and hexy than us. Kurumi. That's right, we have to be attentive, but first, the first round of swimsuit battles begins. P.S. That was real, and it was Issei's thought. End of Issei's thoughts. Issei. Oh my god, if I ever get another fiancé, I swear the other girls will kill me. But then a red-haired girl appears, looking at him with very pretty eyes. Well, I found my fiancé. Issei. With a demon, that's all we needed. You seem to be experiencing a disturbance. Issei. That's right, although I'm afraid they'll have to go to the doctor to ask for a wheelchair. Because if I'm the first and nobody owes you anything. Issei. As the first one then you are. Buy me a coffee and I'll tell you who I am. Issei. Okay. The two went to the cafeteria and ordered something to eat. After the meal came dessert and they gave her a coffee with a strawberry cake. Issei. Okay, now tell me who you are. Rias. My name is Rias Gremory and you are my fiancé Hyoudou Issei, and I know who all your fiancés are because your parents told me. Issei. What? What will Rias tell Issei? Will she know who all of his fiancés are? Watch the next episode of Issei Infinity Stratos. And you know who all of Issei's former fiancés are besides the ones I told you about. End of chapter. Rias and Issei's list of fiancés. Issei. Well then, how many fiancés do I have? Rias. That's right, I have a list of who they are and how I'm committed to them. Issei was a little nervous because he didn't know how many fiancés he had or how the marriage proposal went. Issei. Okay, I'm ready. Give me the list, Rias. Rias. Are you sure, Issei? Issei. I am completely certain and I have given my word that I will not back down. Rias. Well, here you go. Rias gave Issei some papers with names on them and when he saw them, he almost had a heart attack. Issei. Because I have so many fiancés. Rias. Well, in total there are 20 fiancés. Issei. What the hell? Rias. Okay, now I'll tell you their names and how they got you engaged. Issei. Okay. Rias. Well, read first, it's me and you got engaged to me because of a bet. Issei. And what was the bet about? Rias. Well, it says here that it was a food bet and your father didn't win the bet and my dad told him that he would get engaged to me when we turned 18 and your dad said yes. Issei. Okay, next. Rias. The following are the Himejima sisters, Akeno Himejima and Kurumi Himejima. You were betrothed to her because of your father's heroism. Issei. Oh, I see. At least it wasn't a bet. Rias. Be glad at least it wasn't the third one, it's the worst. Issei. Tell me who the third one is. Rias. The third one is Yufayu Onimura and she framed you by kidnapping you. Issei. How then did she? Rias. Yes, it was the other way around, she asked for your hand in marriage if she rescued you. Issei. Let's move on to the next one. Rias. The fourth one is the Tantanashi sister and your parents got you engaged because they were childhood friends and kissed as children. Issei. Wow, I don't remember them, but I have a feeling they're very beautiful. Let's move on to the next one. Rias. The fifth one is geography, I mean history, and you committed to it based on a promise. Issei. Okay, although I don't remember where I met her. Please laugh next time, my love. When Issei told Rias that, she turned as red as a tomato. Rias. Okay, the sixth one is Mikasa Ackerman, and you were betrothed based on royal connections. Issei. Hello, I already have a cabin. But Rias gives him a slap. Rias. No, idiot, that's not her name. Issei. Oh, sorry, I didn't think that was its name. Let's move on to the next one. Rias. The seventh time, Shinono Tabane, Aka the stupid rabbit. Issei. Okay, I know how I got her to commit by touching her breasts. Let's move on to the next one. Rias. The eighth one has the same last name, Shinono Hauki, but I have no information about how you got engaged to her. Issei. Well, we all get what we're given, but let's move on to the next one. Rias. The ninth is Cecilia Alcott, you were also betrothed to royalty. Issei. Okay, but I don't know how I became royalty. Rias. Not even I, the 10th one is such a great goth. Issei. Oh, interesting. Rias. The 11th is Laura. Rias. The 12th is Rin. Issei. Okay. Rias. The 13th is Charlotte Anwar. Issei. Oh yeah, I know her and she's very good for two big reasons. Rias. The 13th is Madoka Onimura. Issei. Ichika's twin. Rias. That's right, the 15th one is Roswis. Issei. Well, I didn't think it would have such good succulence. Rias. The 6th one is Sasha Brous Aka the food saboteur. Issei. Okay, let's continue. Rias. The 7th is the Takamiya twins. Issei. Oh. Rias. The 8th is the Himari anthem. Issei. Okay, how about we eat somewhere else? Rias. Okay, let's continue. End of chapter. The first date with Rias. After they left the first restaurant, the two went to the park to continue talking about Issei's fiancés. Issei. And well, who are the last two fiancés I have? Rias. Your last two internships are called Momon and Nezuko. Issei. Oh, I see. Rias. Well, since we're here in the park, why don't you ask me out on a date like your first girlfriend? Upon hearing that, Issei blushed. How could such a beautiful girl want to go out with a total pervert? Issei. Okay, let's make the appointment. Rias. Okay, let's start where we began. Issei. How about we start with the movies? Rias. Okay, let's go to the movies. The two of them went to the cinema and bought 2 tickets to see the movie Kimetsu no Yaiba. Infinity Train, and then they saw another movie, Shingeki no Kyojin. The final part, and when they came out they were totally sad. Issei. Because I told you to leave, Levi. Rias. I don't know, but I'm going to do something for him that will make him remember you forever. Issei. And what are you going to give me so that I'll remember him as my favorite character? Rias. It's a surprise. But Rias saw something she liked and at the same time she made a perverted face. Rias. Nia Issei. Issei. What's wrong, Rias? Rias. Why don't we go to that Hexy clothing store? Issei turned bright red and almost had a god-level hemorrhage. Issei. Okay, let's go. The two went to the clothing store and Rias was putting on more and more Hexy clothes and Issei was taking too long. His nose had to deal with his pools of blood. After choosing what they wanted, Rias went to pay at the register, but Rias wanted to ask our brown-haired protagonist something. Rias. Issei. Issei. What's going on? Rias. Nothing. Issei. If something happens to you, I want you to tell me. Rias. Well, Issei, do you think we'll ever get married? Issei. We'll get married someday, even though I have 20 fiancés. If I have to marry all 20, I will, but first I'm going to marry you. Whether you're younger than me or younger than me, it doesn't matter. I'm in love with you. Upon hearing this, Rias blushed deeply. She then pushed Issei aside and gave him a passionate lustful kiss. After 15 seconds, they separated, breathless, and Rias pulled our beloved protagonist to a hotel. Once inside the room, Rias began undressing. Issei. You're laughing. But Rias threw Issei onto the bed. Rias. Here's your gift, some knee pads. Issei. Oh no, why the knee pads? Rias. Today we're going to have 2 days of pure snoo. Issei. This is a life of pleasure and lust, what can a non-virgin boy have? You're not more addictive than when he was founded. When he scares me, my heart is desperate and I don't know what to do. Oh my god, what am I going to do? Rias. You like the knee pads, and how we're going to do it, we're going to use all the Kama Sutra positions. What will happen to our brown hair? Will the wheelchair be available in the next episode of Issei Infinity Stratos? And would you give Issei a wheelchair? End of chapter. Memories of the Kama Sutra on a wheelchair, please. After what happened with Stripes of throwing out the whole Kama Sutra, our dear protagonist was there for 3 days and 4 nights, but he had a little bird, it seemed small to him, although Issei motivated him to come out, but he wasn't very scared, because Issei went to see the doctor, he checked him and everything, but he asked the nurse for a wheelchair for Issei, and the doctor told him his diagnosis. Doctor? Young Issei, I'm going to give you your diagnosis. MQCUS 7625E. Hahaha, this diagnosis will be very disturbing and funny at the same time. Issei. What is my diagnosis, doctor? Doctor? Your diagnosis is that you have a torn groin condition. Issei. It means that. Doctor? So your friend doesn't want to go out because he's afraid they'll kill him, so he's not going out, and I don't know what's wrong with you. Issei. Okay, thank you very much, doctor. Doctor? Here is your wheelchair. Issei. Thank you, doctor. Issei left the doctor's office and went home and took a bath, but what no one knew was that he was crying in his bathroom. Issei crying. I feel like my friend disappeared and now how am I going to support 20 women who want so much snoo. Issei was accused by Chifuyu and laughed that he wanted so much snoo. He spent the whole week crying, wanting Chifuyu to kill him, but he couldn't. He spent more than a week locked in his room in a wheelchair. What could get worse? Issei. Eureka. 3 weeks and I already have to use the wheelchair. I hope they don't make me snoo for more than a week because otherwise I won't be able to have children anymore. But that's where Chifuyu comes in. Chifuyu. You won't escape, Issei. Issei. Oh no, why do they all want to have sex with me? Chifuyu. Because I want your children and I want you to marry me and no matter that you're 20, promise. Issei. And how do you know that? Chifuyu. Well, Rias Gremory told me you had 20 fiancés, but first I want to have children with you before the others. Issei. Why wait for another time? Because I've barely recovered and I don't want to lose what's most precious to me, and how will I be able to give children to the others? Chifuyu. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you, my dear fiancé. Issei. Phew, good thing you're not going to kill me. Chifuyu. Yes, I'll feel good and you'll go all the way to heaven and then I'll revive you, but you won't die, so it's time for my dose of Issei. Issei. Oh my god, help me. Chifuyu was undressing and threw our dear protagonist onto the bed. They did many succulent things, but Issei was completely dry. Poor Issei, he was so young that he never got to meet his 20 fiancés. But don't worry, Chifuyu sent him to recover and everything was back to normal again. What will happen to the fiancés? How will he find them? Watch the next episode of Issei in Infinity Stratos. And you know how to find the fiancés. End of chapter. Issei's wedding and. Our beloved chestnut-haired boy was walking slowly so as not to wake Chifuyu and make him do anything, and when he came out he ran at full speed to his room. Issei. I finally managed to escape. But then Issei saw that she had a Chifuyu bra on her head and the bra was black. Issei's perverted face. Issei. Well, I didn't know she had such large oppi. But he didn't realize it and from lateness to me, but so that young Issei could sleep a little. Somewhere unknown. It would be our dear young brunette dressed in a white suit and handcuffs. Issei. But what happened to me? On that page, the blue-haired girl. Hello my love, how have you been? Issei. Who is this and where am I? Are you from Phantom Task? Oh my god, I'm not from that stupid corporation. My name is Tantanashi Sirashiki and I'm your wife. Issei. What the hea? Tantanashi. Don't you remember our wedding and our honeymoon? Issei. I don't remember anything about how I got married or how I got here. Tantanashi. Well, I think this might help you. Tantanashi grabbed a DVD and put it in a player and watched Issei get married and go on his honeymoon. He already knew where the honeymoon was. Paris, France. Issei. Ah, I see. And I think my honeymoon was nice. Tantanashi. It was really good when you were in bed and acted like a wild beast and lasted for many hours. Issei turned as red as a tomato. Issei. Well, how many days did he spend in Paris? Tantanashi. You've been here 2 weeks. Issei. Wait, you were unconscious and I was drugged for 2 weeks. Tantanashi. Yep, but it wasn't my intention to do it. Issei's murderous aura made Tantanashi feel very scared. Issei. Knee Tantanashi. Tantanashi. What's wrong, my love? Issei. I'm going to put those knee pads on you today. Tantanashi was very scared, but Issei put on knee pads. They were doing delicious things to me for 3 long days, so much so that even the neighbors complained about the noise. They thought I was having a party, but it wasn't just the 2 of them. Some time later, they both went to Japan. Anyway, Issei went to a restaurant where Tantanashi had something to tell her. At the restaurant. Issei. So, what is it you wanted to tell me? Tantanashi. Photos of your fiancé are already on their way and want to marry you. Issei. Oh my god, this will be very difficult, marrying them all at once, especially if they want it all in one day. Tantanashi. Yes, I know, but what will you do? They won't be happy if you tell them you don't want to get married. Issei. Yes, I want to get married and everything will have to happen in due time. Look, I want to have a home where you all can be together, have better things, and maybe have children soon. I don't know, but I want everything to go well and not lose you. Then Tatnashi gave me a passionate kiss that made me like it, but Tatnashi said something to Issei. Tatnashi. I will never leave you, whether you are poor or rich, you will always be my husband. But a certain red-haired girl interrupts the two boys' moment. Rias. Well, so you were here, so today it's your turn for punishment, my dear Issei. Issei. Wait Aya. What's happening to our beloved chestnut-haired boy? How is he getting married? Will he be able to fight? Find out in the next episode of Issei Infinity Stratos. And do you know what Issei's armor is? End of chapter. Issei's armor and an enemy from the past. Issei, after what happened with Tatnashi, was in his bed, but something was unexpected. Issei. Hello, what a beautiful day. I have several fiancés, I have to make the weddings a spectacle. The traffic light signaled sleep and everything, and just as he was about to go to bed, a missile shot out and exploded the wall of his room. Issei. But what? And then several soldiers appear with Issei. Tomorrow it seems that phantom tax. Soldier. Surrender, Hyoudou Issei, and come with us. Issei. And if I refuse, she'll shoot him with her little pistols. Soldier. Don't give yourself an electric shock. The soldier pulled out an electric cannon and gave Issei an electric shock, knocking him unconscious. Unknown location, Phantom Tracks area. Issei. Where am I? To me, that speaks to someone who knows our protagonist. Diane. You've finally woken up. Now I want you to work for me. Issei. And why would I work for you? I have no intention of doing so. Diane. Well, she doesn't want to do bad things, anyway, you can't do anything. I have everyone, I couldn't even go out. Issei. And who decided that? I'm the only one who decides that. I can go out as many times as I want. I don't have to follow your orders. Diane. Well, if that's what you want. Diane pulled out a black Swiss roll and drew her weapon. Diane. Last words before dying. Issei. Yes, your rearguard speech, I paid for your weapons, and now you're under my control. Issei Diego Santoy threw Diane with all his might, leaving her in a great mood, and he quickly escaped by his is and put it on. Note. This is Issei's armor. His suit was running around, destroying several soldiers and their weapons, but Diane stopped him. Diane. Surrender, Issei. Hello, school. Issei and your girls will die. We planted some bombs and pressed this button. Everything you want will be destroyed. Issei. I will never give up. Diane. Well, you'll pay for the deaths. And Diane pressed a button, and Issei saw the Is Academy explode, and our protagonist was filled with rage and a thirst for revenge. But then his armor speaks. Greg. You will pay dearly for what you just did to my colleague. I, the one who will awaken. I am the celestial dragon who stole the principles of God's dominion. I laugh at infinity and despise dreams. I will become the red dragon of domination. I will plunge you into the depths of crimson purgatory. Juggernaut Drive. Thus begins the battle. Diane tried to escape, but she couldn't because Issei grabbed her and threw her down. Then he froze her body, and then he used a Longinus max attack. He completely destroyed Diane, but who will be the one to return Issei to normal? Watch the next episode of Issei Infinite Stratos, and you know who will bring Issei back to life. End of chapter. The mission to recover Issei and Issei's dream. At the former is school. Jafai. Well, it's a good thing we had the shield, otherwise we all would have exploded. Pauki. Yes, but who would have fired the shot? Jafai. You will die whoever planted the bombs. Pauki. And how do you know that for some bombs? Jafai. Why is a bomb stronger than a bullet and why can't a bullet destroy the whole school? Only a bomb can. Pauki. I see, but where's Issei? All of his ancestors were searching until they realized that Issei was that giant dragon form and they were all terrified. Jafai. How is this possible? Pauki. I don't know, but whatever it is, Issei has an evolution of his armor. Charlotte. Yes, but how will we get it back to normal? I don't think there's a certain amount of time involved or not. Tatnashi. He may have it, but I can only deactivate it when he does, but I think he's in a submissive mode and doesn't control anything he does. Jafai. That's right, we have to see the light and remember everything so we can control it. Pauki. Okay, let's go. All of Issei's fiancés were searching for him, but Issei was attacking with lightning and sonic cannonballs. Jafai. Lightning is very strong, we have to give it our all. All? Hi. In Issei's dream. Issei was in a bed in a place he knew very well. Issei. Where am I? But she saw the room and realized it was her old house where her parents lived. Issei. How am I here? Let's see what I remember is that I was fighting Diane and I had my armor on and I don't remember anything else. I only remember that, or was it just a bad dream? Issei changed his clothes and went down to the main room and saw his parents. Boru. Hello son, how are you? Aiko. Hello son, how are you? Did you sleep well? Breakfast is ready. The three of them went to breakfast and did several things. Issei went to the supermarket with his mom. Issei. Hey mom, can I ask you something? Aiko. Of course, son, tell me what your question is. Issei. Okay, next questions. Have you ever engaged me before, and what if you lose control during a battle? What would you do? Aiko. Well, these are two very difficult questions, but I have to answer them all. The first is whether you have a fiancé. If so, it's 20. And when you lose a battle and can't contact her, always remember to keep your spirits high so you can control everything, and that way you'll win. Issei. Oh, I see. And what will happen if they're no longer with me? Aiko. We'll always be there in your heart, no matter if you're sad, alone, or have no one. We'll be there for you. Always remember that, Issei. Issei. Yes, mom, I'll always remember it. Aiko. Always fights with her heart. In the battle zone. Rias. Issei, please listen to me. I know you're in there. Don't lose control again, please remember. But Issei didn't hear him. What will the mission hold for the girls? Will they get Issei back? Let me know in the next episode of Issei Infinity Stratos. Do you think they can do it? End of chapter. Issei's pain and a strange girl named Casa. Rias. Answer me, Issei. I know you love me. And the others, please, Issei, come back to us. But Issei didn't hear her and let out a loud scream, which the dragon made like a roar, and Issei threw Rias away, leaving her seriously injured. Rias. How are we going to be able to bring Issei back to normal? Jifayu. I don't know, this is too complicated even for me. Tabane. Even if I could pay, Is will continue using all its strength, even to the point of death. Hauki. So what do we do but wait? Charlotte. We can do Hauki, nothing, just wait. But then some three-dimensional weapons and a strange suit appear and reach the dragon's head. Mikasa. Issei, it's me. Mikasa, you're in a trance. You need to wake up. This is going to hurt. Mikasa takes out a syringe and stabs it into the dragon's head. In Issei's dream. Issei. But what? Issei was seeing everything white and then a very white light appeared, making everything invisible. The end of Issei's dreams. Issei transformed into a dragon and saw Mikasa crying. Issei. Mikasa. Mikasa. Welcome back, my love. What have you been doing all this time and why do you have that strange feeling? You have a lot of explaining to do, but we need to get to a safer place. Mikasa grabbed Issei like a sack of potatoes and took him to a place where they could talk safely while the other fiancés watched the two of them leave. Jifayu. Who is that girl standing there? Why is she called my darling? Rias. Why did it have to be you, Mikasa Ackerman, my worthy rival? Why can we do such delicious things with my beloved Issei? Hauki. Lives are beloved Issei. Charlotte. It's mine. Tabane. Mine. The four of them began to fight like wild beasts over the king and their future. In the park. After we were both in a safe place, Mikasa had to discuss some matters with our dear brunette. Mikasa. Well, Issei, what's happened all this time you haven't been with me? Issei. Well, a lot of things happened in my little home. Some things I remember and some I don't, but I'll always remember you, Mikasa Ackerman. Mikasa. You still remember me? It's a miracle, and you still call me my little home. That makes me happy. Mikasa hugged Issei for about 15 minutes because Mikasa was already crying. Issei. But I have a question, Mikasa. Mikasa. What is my love? Issei. What have you been doing all this time until you found me again? Mikasa. Well, I did a lot of things. First, I trained Lego. I learned to fight. I wasn't prepared, so I trained more and more and more. That's how I became very powerful to protect you. And now, to get engaged to you, let's go to the church. Issei. Seriously, Mikasa, you always get straight to the point. Mikasa. That's right. Issei. Well, I hope it's a nice wedding. What will happen to our beloved chestnut-haired hero? Will he get married, or will his fiancés break off their engagements with Mikasa? Watch the next episode, Issei Infinite Stratos, and will you support Issei? End of chapter. The battle for power. Mikasa. Well, what will we do now? Issei. I was thinking of going to. But it was interrupted because several missiles fell on the city, destroying buildings and houses and killing citizens. Issei. But what's going on here? Why am I falling for them? They're not to blame for this war. Mikasa. They're not to blame, they just want more and they won't stop until they have your is. Issei. I see, then I'll have to fight to survive and protect what I have left, which is to say, you, my little home. Mikasa. Well, it's a good thing I brought Nezuko. Nezuko. Hello darling, I've come to help you and defeat this war you're having with Phantom Rax. Issei. Well, if we have many hands, then we'll have to build something very powerful that can clone itself and make several replicas that can fire. But then someone appears. Tamari. I can help you with that. I'm a cat demon, so my love, let's do it. You know, all of us, and now we'll have to help you defeat this powerful enemy. Issei. Alright, let's do it. Issei pulled out a blueprint for how to build something very powerful, and all of our beloved brunette's fiancés searched for all the possible materials to build it. Once they had all the materials, they began to construct a model of a super advanced battle bus with cutting-edge technology. Issei. Well, it's time. Mikasa. That's right, it's time. Issei started the battle bus and they raced at full speed to fight someone, getting hit by bombs and gunfire until they reached the ramp. The bus went into airplane mode, was cloned, and many battle buses were created. Issei. Diane, the battle begins here and you won't kill any more people just for your own amusement. It's time for battle. Diane. Well, come to me, Issei Hyoudou. Issei. I'm coming for you. Issei then turns on the radio and hears the AC/DC song called Demon Fire. Mikasa on the radio. Mikasa. Good news, I was able to fix the radio. And so began the gunfire and explosions all over the city of Japan while the other girls watched the battle unfold. Haoki. What do we do, sister? Tabane was analyzing the battle bus they had created. Tabane. It looks like it was built using a bus with super advanced technology and super powerful weapons that resemble in his armor. Jafai. Well, we'll have to do the same as them, make a bus just like they did to fight. All. Hi. This is how they prepared to build the bus. On the battlefield. Issei. Dragon Blaster Cannon OK. And so our beloved chestnut-haired hero unleashes a powerful attack. What will happen in this war? Who will win? Watch the next episode of Issei Infinite Stratos and you'll find out who will win. Issei vs Diane. Issei Infinite Stratos. Issei vs Diane. Issei's love. After Issei used a Juggernaut drive and the girls in the battle bus they created for him, our protagonist is ready for battle. Issei Dragon. Ruuir. Issei inside the Red Emperor's armor. Issei. Chifu. Under the rubble. Diane. Shit, I wasn't expecting that. What the heck? Diane saw Issei in his dragon form. Diane. Impossible. This is one of the heavenly dragons. Well, if I have to fight him, I'll have to use my full power. Diane was increasing her height and when she reached the perfect height, she was ready for battle, but she summoned a hammer to give her an advantage. And so the battle began. Diane and Issei did it at the same time, they gave the first blow which made a lot of sand smoke, but when they saw their fists were together and they jumped, they made another attack. Diane. Infinite destruction, let's see if you can handle that. But Issei used his ace in the hole. Issei Dragon. Divine. 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 Dividing. Divine. Divine. Diane. But what divine? Divine. Divine. Dividing. But that power belongs to the White Dragon Emperor, but that doesn't matter. You can use the White Emperor's power, I'm going straight for it. Diane used her hammer and struck the armor with a powerful blow, but surprisingly, it shattered. Diane believed she had won, but she hadn't anticipated Issei's surprise attack. Issei. This is my final attack and you will be defeated by Hyoudou Issei, the child who weaned me alive while watching my house burn down and being kidnapped. And Issei used the three-dimensional equipment that Mikasa gave him. Flashback. Issei. Mikasa, I want to ask you a favor. Mikasa. Which is my love. Issei. I need you to get me your three-dimensional weapon. Mikasa. I can get them for you, but what do you want them for? Issei. Because I know who is behind my memory loss and my kidnapping. Mikasa. Okay, but don't do anything stupid with these weapons. And Mikasa gave them the weapons. Issei. Thank you Mikasa. End of flashback. Issei. Your time has come. Levi 7DS Grand Cross Climax video. Imagine Levi is Issei. And so, cutting off his armor and his hammer, leaving Diane badly wounded and Diane already defeated, Issei puts the sword he was holding into Diane's mouth and was going to say a few words to her. Issei. Because Diane but Issei takes the sword out of Diane's mouth and lets her speak. Diane. I didn't do it because I wanted to, I did it for your own good. But Issei saw that she had a very serious wound and stepped on Diane's wound. Diane. I please I beg you for mercy please I have always loved you. Issei. What? Diane. I erased your memory because I didn't want you to get hurt and what more do I owe you? Issei. To whom do you owe? Diane. I owe the Atagami clan to the people who want you dead. Issei. And that's why you erased my memory. Diane. That's right, but I'll tell you everything because I. Issei. What about you? Diane. Because I love you. If you want, kill me, but I want to live with you, just like Kurumi and especially with your parents. Issei. My parents are dead. Diane. I know, but you have a sister. Issei. I have a sister. Diane. Yes, but please take me with you. I don't want to be with them, but please take me. And Diane kisses him crying, and Issei carries her. Issei, let's go Diane. Issei ran with all his might, but when he looked around, all his girls were on a battle bus. Issei. But what the hell? And they opened the bus doors. Jafai. Up Issei. Issei jumped and arrived. Issei. I don't know how they made the bus, but let's go. Jafai. Well, but you'll have to tell me what she's doing here. Issei. I'll tell you later, but let's go. Jafai. Okay. And so they all went to a safer place so that no more enemies would come. What will happen to Issei? Will Diane tell him where his sister is? Find out in the next episode of Issei Infinite Stratos and you'll learn about Issei's past. End of chapter. The day he tells the whole truth. After they left in the battle bus, they stopped me. Hidden where no one knows the location of their enemies, Diane was going to confess everything she had done with Issei's family. Issei. Alright, it's time, Diane, to tell us the whole truth. Diane. Okay, I'll tell you what's going to happen after I erase your memory. Well, it all starts after I kidnap you. Issei. You kidnapped me. Diane. That's right, but he used a good excuse to take care of your family, but when you were rescued I had to do something very difficult for me. You erased all the memory. Flashback 5 years ago. Diane narrating. After I erased your memory and you calmly went to a hospital to recover, I unfortunately had to deal with the family who wanted you dead, the Shirin family. Patriarch Shirin, you have failed me Diana. You were supposed to kill him because he is our enemy, and I had that mission, only that mission. And you, the ruins. You know I don't want to see you. Get out of my sight. So I left the patriarchy, your family, so they wouldn't beat her and wouldn't stop feeding her, but they would whip her. They made us not bathe for more than a month and not eat sometimes for up to a week, but when your mother was delirious and about to leave, she told me something. Jane. Diana, please find my son and help him so you can defeat the Shirin clan. But then there's a very loud knock at the door. Guard. Open the door, let us in. We are the guards of Clan Shirin. Jane. Run and take my daughter, give her a better life. Diane narrating. And so I left the Shirin clan, and when I was in England one day, I left your sister in an orphanage so she wouldn't be pursued, but they pursued me instead. So I was running all over the world so they wouldn't find me, until I arrived in Japan where I had to fight you, so they would believe I was on their side and they didn't kill me. End of flashback. Diane. That's why I had to fight you, not because I wanted to, but because I wanted them to tell me not to kill me. Issei. I see. Then we have to find my brother as soon as possible, before you find the clan, or am I wrong? Diane. That's right, but the problem is I don't know where your sister is because later, when I wanted to go to the orphanage, they told me your sister wasn't there anymore and ran away at the age of 12. Issei. Oh, I see. Then we have a mission. Diana, find my brother and take care of her as soon as possible, train her so we can defeat her. But Chifayu joins the conversation. Chifayu. And how do you know if she's not lying to you, darling? You don't know if your sister is still alive or not. Diane. You're partly right about how we're going to know if she's alive, maybe she's lying to you, I don't know. Issei. You know, I know she's alive, and even if you lied to me, you'd tell the whole truth because I cast a spell to make you tell the whole truth, and then you told me. Diane. Wow, you're very clever. Well, and yes, I'll be part of your harem. Issei. Alright, let's find my sister before the Shirin clan finds her. What will happen to our beloved protagonist? Will he be able to find his sister? Will he find her before the enemy clan? Watch the next episode of Issei Infinity Stratos. And do you know who Issei's sister is? End of chapter. Forming the team for the next battle. After Diane told Issei, everyone did their best to build weapons and repair the battle bus, which had sustained some damage. Meanwhile, Issei and Diane were figuring out how to assemble a team and strategize to infiltrate the Shirin clan and find his brother, but their primary mission was to find his sister. Issei. Well, we'll have to figure out how to put together a team, but who would we need? Someone very stealthy, someone who can fly, someone who can wield all the swords they have, and someone with healing abilities. Diane. Well, I can contact several people, but you're not going to like who they are. Issei. Who are they? Diane. They are Nezuko, Jericho, Himari, and they're the only ones I can think of. Issei. I know who can help me, but she's a sadist. Diane. Don't tell me you're going to contact her. Issei. I would have to contact both of them, although one of them is telling me that's because she was acting, and the other one is crazier than a goat. Diane. Okay, I'll have to pray a lot because this is going to get very disturbing, especially for me. Issei contacted all the girls he was supposed to call, and they arrived after 2 days. Kuoh military base, 2:30 p.m. Issei and Diane were at the military base, but they had a very special package. Let me go, you wretch. I've been kidnapped. I don't know who you are, especially if you're from the Shirin clan. Why are you targeting each of you, even if it means losing a leg? Issei. And that's my sister. And even more so if I find my brother, I'll kill them all, including that stupid bitch Diane. Diane. If she's your sister, if you hate her so much because I left her in an orphanage with nuns, it's like that joke about the nuns. Issei. And what's that joke about the nuns, according to you? Diane. Well, they're getting your sister down and she doesn't have to kick, I'll tell you the joke. Joke. Act 1. 3 nuns come out playing poker. Act 2. The 3 nuns appear again, playing poker. Third act. The same 3 nuns appear playing poker. Diane. What was the name of the work? Issei. How? Diane. What a bunch of mothers, hahaha. Issei. Hahaha, what a good joke. Hey, you left me in an orphanage and I had to live with those nuns until I finally managed to escape. Diane. Sorry. But then a very pretty song by a girl begins. Kurumi. Ara Diane already has more breasts. And you might wonder why, well, Urimal was grabbing her breasts and Diane was very embarrassed, but at the same time she was getting turned on. Izuko. Enough with all this weird shipping already. Akeno. That's right, hello my love. Issei. Hi Akeno, how did it go with Rias and Roswis? Akeno. Well, they're already prepared for your plan, but are you sure it's going to work? Issei. I'm going to do it perfectly. Mikasa. And they brought me the 3D weapons. Kurumi. That's right, we brought everything we could, the point is how will we get into the Shirin clan temple? Since you're not from the Shirin clan, let's see, I'm getting all mixed up. Diane, can you explain what's going on? Diane. Well, Natasha, this is your brother, Hyoudou Issei. Natasha. You're impossible, my brother. Issei. That's right, I'm your brother. Natasha hugged Issei and cried for a while. Later, Diane told her the plan for how they were going to enter the Shannon temple. Natasha. Okay, I know where to go now, but it's not very pretty, to say the least. Issei. It doesn't matter, we'll have to do it. Natasha. We need a car or bus that has super powerful weapons and that can withstand and has armor so that it can endure that environment. Natasha. Issei. Luckily we have a battle bus in great condition. And so everyone was prepared and ready to go where Natalie said, but she knew she was dressed very strangely but at the same time elegantly. Natasha. Follow my brother's lead so you can have more time and we can get there. On the other battle bus. Defy. Understood, let's move forward. And so they put on the background music for the run. Finish line race music. And when they reached the unfinished bridge, they accelerated at full speed and propelled themselves with a jump, reaching the other side of the bridge and thus arriving at the Shirin clan temple. Issei. Arrives at the Shirin clan. What will happen now? An epic battle will be the end of all the evil this clan has done this summer in the next episode of Issei Infinity Stratos. And do you know if it's Issei's final battle? End of chapter. The final battle. Team Issei versus the Shirin clan secret weapon. Shirin clan temple. Issei. Alright, we're here. Natasha. That's right, it's time for the plan. Diane. Let's do it. Then everyone was here, I told all the users so they could enter the room directly, and when everyone had entered, they searched everywhere, but Issei fell into a trapdoor, leading him to a secret room where Rias of the Shirin clan was waiting for him. Dark. Welcome back Hyoudou Issei. Issei. You Dark, what are you doing here? Dark. I love you. This is a very stupid question, but I'll tell you, and without finding the one I'm going to control, I'll control the whole world. Issei. Impossible, you can't control the world. Dark. Of course, now you'll see. Dark ran to the machine, but Issei cut off his arm with his sword Stormfire. Dark. Ah damn it. Issei. Hyoudou clan stance, the fire dance. Dark. Even so, you won't stop me, Issei, because you arrived too late and now I don't have time to fight you. Dark entered the machine and when he saw Issei, he saw who it was. Issei. Galactus. And now Dark was Galactus, the devourer of worlds. Galactus. And now the world is mine. Ha ha ha. Issei. Not for long. Issei pulled a radio out of his pocket. Issei. Now Rias. At a camp. Rias. Very good, Issei. Then Rias creates a portal, swallowing Galactus and everyone else who is there. Now you, my readers, will be the drivers of the battle buses. Reader. Where am I? But then Issei appears in his red dragon emperor armor. Issei. Hey buddy, sorry to bring you here, but we need your help. We're fighting Galactus and we need reinforcements, but we've altered reality to create thousands of battle buses in bomb form that Galactus will have to devour. So, good luck. But then robots appear, shooting. Issei. Oh wow, robots. Well, I have a good excuse for you to use the machine guns. Now, in this situation, you'll have to use the machine guns to defeat the robot and get very close to Galactus. I wish you luck. And so begins the battle for the world. Team Issei vs Team Galactus. All the battle buses driven by readers were firing non-stop so they could defeat everyone, but some exploded and I was able to reach Galactus until the first one arrived and it was Morantogamer 18. Issei. We need to move away from point zero now. But then the bus horn sounds. Issei. Okay, don't panic. I think he saw you. Hey Chifayu, this bus has a problem. He appears at the bus door. Chifayu. Don't be afraid, I said I miss you, battle chariot. And so I diverted. Issei. Pilot, you'll take him up to your arm. Keep going wherever you can and don't lose your way. Good luck. That's where the action begins. Issei. Bad news, Galactus is coming for you. Good news, I fixed the radio. And so he kept shooting at all the robots until he reached the end of the road. Radio Issei. Wow, I see a lot of robots. Hey Diane, give us a claw. Diane. Help me up, buddy. And he made all the robots explode. And he was already close to Galactus. Diane. Have fun. And Issei is appealing again. Issei. If everything goes according to plan, then I'll go back and if not, well, we had a great time. Then Galactus ate all the buses and when there were none left, it took effect. Galactus. It can't be, it's impossible. No. And so Galactus exploded. Issei. Well done, we did it. And so everyone returned to Earth safe and sound and our beloved protagonist lived out all the years he had ahead of him. And so ends this story called Issei Infinity Stratos. End of chapter. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.